So in the tutorial we will be looking on the another quite important and quite significant API which ServiceNow provides out of the box, and that is GlideUser API. So what GlideUser API does? The GlideUser API provides access to information about the current user, or we can say the logged in user. It's basically you when you are logged in, and current user roles. Using this GlideUser API avoids the need to use the slow GlideRecord queries to obtain user information. So for example, you want to get information of the logged in user. The basic approach which we will follow is like you will GlideRecord the user table, then we will get the ID and we will query it out to get the current user information, right? Which is quite a hectic steps, okay? And it's also slower approach, right? Because it will go on a recurring uh, uh, steps to the database, okay, execution to the database. So let's have a look into the GlideUser. In this tutorial we will be looking into each and every method of the GlideUser API and how it can be useful to us, okay. So as you know, I've logged into my system, and this is the instance, this is the dashboard which we see when we log into the personal instance. So for the today's tutorial I will be using a fixed script, so we will execute all our code to the fixed script. So let's jump to the fixed script now. So I will go to fixed script, I will create a new one. Let's give it the name called glide user API APIs, okay. I will save it out, okay. So let's start with, so the first function which we'll be using is getDisplayName, okay. So what getDisplayName does, so let me put it this way. So what getDisplay method does, it returns the display name of the user. So you know there are display name for every table, okay. When we set display equal to true to some other field, so it will be like a identity for that particular record, okay. So whenever we have some reference field, right, to the user table, so and what will be the display, what will be the name will be shown on the form when we select that particular record, that is called a display name. So how we'll formulate the code for that. So first of all, let's see the general syntax. So it's like variable, I will give current user equal to, now look at the syntax, okay. So the syntax will be gs, okay. Gs, you can say a glide session, or I call it glide session, okay. So it's gs dot get user, okay, get user. And now we got the entire user at account, the logged user uh, details, okay, using this function in the get user variable. Now we want to see the display name, so it's quite simple, like gs dot info, okay. I will give current user dot get display name, okay. So let's see what this function does. As I've logged in as a system administrator, okay. So let me open that profile so that we can cross verify the things whether it's giving relevant information, it's right or wrong, okay. Let's do that. So I will go to simply list, sorry. So I have logged in as admin, right? So let's go to the admin profile, and boom, this is the admin profile, okay. So let's verify whether the GlideRecord APIs are working fine or not, okay. So I will save this record out, and now let's run the script. Let's see what outcome we are getting out of it. So I will proceed, and it gave the display name system administrator, okay. Let's see, jump over there. So you know the display name is, you can see, system administrator, okay. It's like username, display name is user first name plus last name combination it's giving, okay. Or title we can say system administrator. So this is fine. Now let's move to the next method. The next method is domain display value, okay. So what domain display value does, key, you know there is a concept called domain separation in ServiceNow. So with the domain separation we can separate the entire user base or all the records in different companies. Okay, so each company is called as domain. Okay, so we want to, if you want to see where this user belongs to, so we can get that domain value. But right now, as we have not, we are not using domain separated instance, so the domain will be common for all. That will be a global domain. Okay, we'll be creating each and every record in the global domain. So let's try to find it out. So the next method, as I mentioned, it's like, I will comment this out. The next method is getDomainDisplayValue. Okay, and it returns the display value of the user session domain. Okay, so let's try the code. So the code, I will take the same variable gr equal to getUser, and this is a common context, right? So let's reuse it. So getUser and then gs dot info, and now what we'll do, we will do current user dot get domain. It's not visible over there, okay, as it's not a domain separated instance, but let's try if we get some value. Okay, so this is a function, how, not capital A. Okay, this is a function. Let's see what values we are getting out of it. So I will save it out and let's run. So I will proceed. So you can see it has given the output as global. So right now the current user is in global domain. Okay, moving on to the next method. The next method is get email. Okay, get email address. So what the get email address does, it's give the email address of the current logged in user. Okay, so the next method, get email, and it returns the user email address. Okay, let's try to find it out. Okay, so I will put a script over there. It's a boilerplate code, right? So I will put the script. So it's like current variable current user equal to get user. Okay, gs.getUser, and info we are getting current user dot get email. Like simply get, give me the email, okay, of the user. I want to escalate something. Again, this logged in user. So if I run this out, okay, let's see, proceed, and as you can see, this is my email ID. Okay, don't spam it. Okay, actually this is my original email ID. So this is my email ID, mgujarati@gmail.com, and we can verify it on the user profile. You can see over here, boom, this is the email ID. So our script is working fine. Now the next method is getFirstName. Okay, so the name itself signifies what this method will do. So this method will give us the first name of the user profile. Okay, so let's try the code for the same. So I will again use the same variable. Okay, and then I will do gs.info. Okay, and I will give current user dot get. Oh, it's not there. Okay, in the drop down. So it's the name syntax is, I think, first name. Let's try it out. Okay, this is the syntax. So I will save it out. Let's see if it gives the proper value. Proceed. Okay, the first name is system. Let's verify. I don't like my name as first name as system, but it's there as system. Okay, now if you have seen in the first name, okay, let's move ahead with the next. It's like getID. So you know getID method, what it will do, it will return the sysID of the current user record. So let's move forward. Let's try the another method, whether it is giving the sysID properly or not. Get user, it returns the sysID of the current user, as I mentioned. Okay, now let's type the code. again we will copy the same, it's common syntax, very big ttt and gs dot info. Okay, and I will give current user dot get id. Okay, so let's see the id. I will save it. I will run script, proceed. It's giving 6816441 in the last, 681 in the start and 441 in the end. Let's see whether this is the right value. So I will copy sys id. I'll paste it over here only to just verify. So, oh sorry, it has a length constraint, I remember. So let's put it over here, 6814441. Okay, 6814441. Great. Another word method worked fine. Good. So as we have seen the first name, right? Let's take the last name also. Okay, I just forgot over here. So let's take it over. So what last name will do? It will return the user's last name. Ah, we know the fact. Okay, so my last name according to the system is administrator. Okay, so let's try it out. I will simply copy this current name and then we will be like gs.info again. Now current user dot get last name. It should work. I will save it out. I like fixed script a lot. Pretty easy. So we have written a script as current.get user last name. Let's try. Proceed. Yes, my last name is administrator. I will change it out today after this tutorial only. Now moving on to the next method. Now these are quite special methods. Okay, this was the basic information on the users. Now the further methods. The next method is getMyGroups. So as you can see, we can add users to multiple groups, right? And now if I have a use case, I'm a logged in user, I want to see how many groups I'm part of. I want to see what all groups I'm involved in, right? Everyone wants to see. Okay, the more number of groups, the more important person you are. So what is the syntax? So the next method is getMyGroups. Okay, now one thing, groups can be multiple, right? That's why we are getting groups, right? So this particular method will give a list of all the groups, okay, which user belongs to. Okay, and it will return only active group, because who wants to see inactive groups, right? Okay, it doesn't make any sense. So that's the reason. So the syntax is quite simple for it. It's like, keep one thing in mind, it's list, right? That means it will return an array of sysids of the group, because group is also a reference field, right? There is a separate table for group, right? So let's do variable. I will give it then variable group array equal to gs dot get user. Okay, now we got the user. Now we want to have it get groups, get my groups. Okay, so this is how we define this thing out. So now I got user, logged in user. From that I got groups, right? It's as special case. And now, as I told, we will get it as a list. Okay, now we want to so in in order to get it separated and to be visible in a proper way, we will convert it to an array. Okay, so I will do array. Okay. It's like a best practice which I use so that I can easily perform certain action based on the groups. So I will give gs.info and group array. Let's run how many groups I'm part of. I'm not aware. Let's see. If I run this out now, proceed. Mhm. Okay, it gave array. Okay, it gave array. So let's, for the demo purpose, let me remove this array. So it will give a comma separated string. Okay, I will run, proceed. See, it got. It's like I'm part of being a system administrator. Also, I'm part of only one group. Let's add a couple of groups so that we'll be able to see how it looks when multiple groups are there. I don't want to save my password. So I will add this, I will add this, I will add this, I will add this, I will add this. So total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now let's see. Let's try to execute it now. It should give 6 IDs, right? Proceed. Yes. Now I am part of 6 groups. These are the 6 groups which I am part of. Now the next one. The next one is getName. Okay. So getName is like it returns the user ID or login name, right? You know, on every, sorry, no, on every user account we have this user ID, right? Which is used for login purpose, right? So we get it. If you want to get it, we get it using getName. So let's comment this out. I'm getting pretty good response in the comments what people wants to see, and I'm delivering what they want only. Okay, so the get name returns the user ID or login name, or we can say login name or the current user. Okay, pretty straightforward. Now for, as you know, as I log in as system administrator, the username will be admin. Okay, so let's try to find it out. Variable CUR user, is it quite interesting, right? And I will give user, sorry, get user, get user. And now gs.info, see, current user dot get name. So now this should return, let's have a guess. Yes, you are right, this should return admin. Okay, because I have logged in as admin. Let's run it out, proceed. Boom, it has given admin. Now the next method is quite important and it is used in lots of ACS. Okay, so pay attention on this method. So the next method is getRoles. Okay, so there are two methods called getRoles and getUserRoles. Okay, so let's see the difference between both of them. Okay, so let's go with the getRoles first. Okay, so the syntax for this is getRoles. So as you can see, getRoles returns a list of rows associated with the user. Okay, so it can be directly added to the user profile, indirectly, anything. Okay, it includes explicitly granted roles, like some rows are inherited, some rows are acquired from another group. So inherited rows is like admin consists of ITL user role, um ITL user role, ESS user role, everything is incorporated in one role that is called admin. Okay, through that also we can get multiple roles. So once we are assigning admin role to a user, so inside that that particular user is getting multiple roles. Okay, so you can say one role is can be a combination of many roles also. And roles acquired by group membership. So suppose there is a group called database, and I've given database admin role to that particular group. When I'm adding myself to that particular group, so I'm getting that role indirectly, okay, to my user profile. So these are the way. So it will give the list of all the rows, okay, whether you got it directly, whether you got it by inheritance, or whether you got it with the charity from the groups. Okay, it will give everything. So I will, the syntax for this is, I will simply do variable, I'm pretty lazy. So variable current user get user ID, and then gs dot get gs dot info current user dot get roles. Now keep one thing in mind, as the number of rows can be multiple, it will also return a list. Okay, it will also return a list of roles, or just roles is ID. Okay, so I will save it out. Let's run the script, proceed. So we can see I have this much of role as a template, name, then all these roles I have snippet admin, all these other roles which I got directly or indirectly through any mean. Okay, now the other method which I was talking about is getUserRoles. So let's see the difference. Now what getUserRole does, getUserRole gives you a list of roles which are explicitly granted to the user. Means it's like a privilege only given to you, not by any kind of charity or not by any kind of indirect means. Okay, so I want to see, it's like it is not the, I don't want to see that something which is generic to everyone, right? Like a yearly hike. If companies decide that they want to give a yearly hike of 6%, it's generic to everyone. Okay, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in what incentives I'm getting, specially like some rewards on my work and all that things. In the similar way, in terms of roles. Okay, so let's see how it works. So the syntax for it's similar only. I will give variable vsms. So I will give variable gr, variable current user equal to gs.getUser, and then I will give gs.info, and in that I will give current users dot get user. Okay, now the user got introduced. Get user roles. So we want to see the roles which are assigned to that user only. No charity, bro. So if I save it out, if I run this code, proceed, there is only two roles which are explicitly given to me. And we can see, we have seen in the last example, there was around 12 to 13 roles which I got as a charity. Means so I got 10 roles as a charity when I'm admin. Great. Seriously. So this is done. Now moving on to next method, it's getUserByID. So there are a lot of scenarios. Okay, now it's not only for current session user. If you want to get the user object for user based on any unique value, okay, so we can say get by ID itself. So we will use getUserByID. Okay, so what this method does, so getUserByID, you can, are you able to see the screen? Let's make it. So what it does, get user, okay, sorry, get user ID. Okay, return the user object associated with the passed in user ID. So it has one argument, it takes one argument, and you can pass it as sysID of the user or username of the user. Why these two things? Because these are unique for every user, right? So let's see how it works. Okay, I will show you the difference. So what we'll do, we'll take variable current user equal to gs dot get user. Okay, so now we got a session user. Now I will simply give gs dot info. Okay, info, and I will be give current user dot get first name. Okay, we have seen the method. Now I will create one other variable. Okay, let's see, variable new user. Okay, I will use the same syntax, current user. Okay, I'm using the same object. Okay, keep it in mind, I'm using the same object. So it will be current user. Now I will use the function called get. It's not mentioned over there, okay, but it's present. So I will get user. Only few people know this kind of method exists by ID. Okay, this is syntax get, and now I will pass the user ID of one of the user. So I will use our superstar or ServiceNow instance demo data. It's able tutor, able dot I think tutor. Okay, now I won't. First of all, I got current user. I got the first name of the current user. Now I want to fetch the data for this user ID. Okay. Now let's try to print the same gs.info. Okay. And I will give new user, the current user. Okay. I will save it out. Let's see how it works. Proceed. So now you can see with the first object I got system, which we have already tried it out. Okay, but with the second info message, now we have passed the user ID as able tutor. That's why I got the name as able. So that means I got the hold of able tutors record. Pretty fine. This is quite simple. You have to just go through it once or twice and everything will be cleared to you. The next method, which is really important when you are defining the ACS, you will use it most of the time, which is called hasRoles. So what hasRole does, it determines whether the particular user has a role or not. The name itself signifies that. Okay, so suppose I'm an admin. Now everyone tells ki I have a username with a user account with name admin, right? But do I really have the admin access? Let's check it out using this method. So what we will do, pretty good thing to test. I will do variable current user equal to gs dot get user. It will be pretty shame if being an admin I don't have the admin roles. Okay, so I'll give gs dot info. It's a reality check, we can see. Now I will do current user dot has role, and now I will give role as admin. So this particular function returns boolean value. Okay, whether it's true or false. Okay, so now I want to check whether I am having admin role. It should be true ideally. Let's see. I will run the script. Proceed. Thank God, it's true. Okay, now I have trust on Servicenow instance. Okay, now another thing is like the last method. Okay, which is also quite important. We have got a lot of methods. The last method is isMemberOf. So what this method does, okay, I'm not going into that theory, okay, because theory is always boring, okay. So isMemberOf, what this isMemberOf does, it takes one input parameter that will be string, okay, it's a group name. So when we want to verify whether a user is a part of this group, logged in user is a part of this group or not, we'll use this method. It determines if the user is a member of specific group, okay. It also returns boolean value because it determines, right? Okay, so let's try to check it out. Okay, so I will comment and I will copy it. I'll give variable tia current user and then I will give ts dot info and I will give current user dot is member of. Let me think of any group. Okay, let's check. We have a lot of groups over here, right? So let's check if I'm a member of this group. Okay, I am a member, I can see, so it should return true. Okay, so if I save it out, let's see what it returns. I will run the script out, proceed. True, I'm a part of that group. Let's try with a group which I'm not a part of. I know one group. Okay, so it's capacity management, so it's GMT. This is also group. Okay, ServiceNow small a. I'm not sure whether it's uppercase lowercase specific or not. That's why I gave the same way. Okay, let's run the script out, proceed. False, I'm not a part of that group. Okay, so in this way we have completed all the methods, okay, which are there as a part of GlideUser API. So GlideUser API is it's quite crucial ones you will be using in day-to-day activities while writing a business rule, while defining an ACS. Okay, it's quite useful. Please stay with us for further videos like this. Okay, if you need some video from my side, just put it in the comment box and the next video will be yours. Okay, based on the priorities. Like, follow, subscribe and stay with us for further videos. So till then, goodbye, have a nice day. Thank you.